Hey, buddy. Oh, could this be like lowered a little bit? Is that okay? Thank you. Hey, I think your name is Jacob, right?
That's correct.
So yeah, I see you have a lot of really interesting takes. I see that you primarily make content relating to Israel-Palestine, and truly, I'll be real with you. As a person on the left, I actually agree with you on a lot of takes, right? Like Palestinians, a lot of times are getting themselves into conflicts, like the October 7th event, right? Mm-hmm. They elected Hamas. These are objectively bad things that we totally agree on.
Right.
But I think aside from that, I think we'll differ in a lot of ways, and I'd like to go over that. So I guess there's like two ways we could go about this. There's one where I think we both notice a rise of like Christian nationalism. So like Nick Fuentes, Andrew Wilson, etc. Would you agree with that?
Sure, but I don't think Nick Fuentes is actually a Christian nationalist. I think he's somebody who is a nationalist and a really white supremacist who hides behind the banner of Christianity. I don't think any self-proclaiming Christian can claim that Joseph Stalin and Hitler were good people.
Yeah.
I don't think that they can have dirty mouths, like what they say. I don't think that they can spew slurs, because the Bible teaches that you have the fruits of the Spirit, and what is of the heart comes from the mouth. Right. I don't believe that people who are filled with the Holy Spirit, who are Christians, who have relationships with Jesus, act in the way that Nick Fuentes does, but I do believe that they can hide behind a banner of Christianity. So if you want to call that Christian nationalism, sure. But yeah, I think those people are dangerous, yeah.
Yeah. But like what you were saying, though, that the fact they're hiding behind that, I think that's a really big problem. And I'm going to say I'm a very atheist, I'm a very secular guy. But because of the fact that they hide behind Christianity, right, and they'll point to scripture as their objective morality, because of that, it only leaves me to be able to attack Christianity in terms of like how it's structured and like whether or not it's valid.
Sure. So what scripture does Nick Fuentes point to justify his beliefs?
What scripture he does? I don't freaking know, man.
I've never seen him do that. I don't think he can, because I don't think scripture, like I said, backs up his beliefs.
Well, they'll usually point to scripture for things like talking about like gay people, right? Like saying like gay people shouldn't be able to get married, for example. And that's problematic to me. I'm not gay, but that my friends are.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's a biblical worldview of the traditional family and the family unit, the nuclear family. I don't think that's Christian nationalism to believe. I mean, I don't think the country was Christian nationalist for every year up until 2015, before it was legalized.
Yeah.
It's just a differing opinion. And again, you can love people, you can respect people as citizens, but disagree with their lifestyle and not be for the legality of certain issues. When you start talking about hating people and they should be put to death and all of this and that and their cancer, and that's when it becomes an issue. But having a disagreement on whether people should be able to get married or whether people should be able to have an abortion, I don't think those are extremist takes. I think historically those have been very moderate and respectful positions, but I think over time the media has become so polarized to where we are told to believe that if somebody is against abortion, they hate women, they want to take all their rights away, or if that somebody is not for gay marriage, that they're a homophobe and a bigot and they hate people, and I don't think that's the case. But I think in many cases it can be, but that it's not always the case, that if somebody is not for homosexuality, that they inherently hate gay people. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, but to wrap it back to what I was trying to say before, either we could go into a discussion on Christianity and its validity, which I don't know how versed you are in apologetics, but it's one of my favorite things to talk about, and I know you're a very hard Christian, so I do have a Bible in here, and we could go through verses if you would like, or we could talk about Trump versus Kamala things and recent political events, whichever you prefer.
Well, Kamala lost.
She did.
I don't know what there is to talk about her. She's irrelevant. She sucks as a politician. She's a failed politician. She poured a lot of money into a campaign and got obliterated in every single state, every single swing state. She lost the popular and electoral college vote.
Sure.
She didn't really even present many policies. She tried to hide behind, I'm not a continuation of Biden, because she understood how bad people viewed Biden. That's why people voted for Trump, is because of how horrible the state of the country was in under the Biden administration.
I wouldn't attribute that to Biden, no. No. So, like, for example, like COVID-19, like if you look at how COVID started and when the lockdown started, all this was under Trump. Trump failed to act on the warnings from the CDC to shut down the country.
Operation Warp Speed?
Yeah, that was a good thing, but that was after the fact. Imagine if we had shut down beforehand and he
Well, the
took
science was
Fauci's
changing every single
recommendations.
day. One day Fauci would come out and say, oh, you have to be 14 feet from people, you have to wear a mask. Oh, no, masks
Correct.
don't work. The science was ever changing, and the science is still ever changing, even whenever we look back on this. I don't think that
Correct,
people voted for
but-
Trump because of COVID.
But, well, they voted mainly because of like prices. Inflation had gone up really high, and that's because of COVID. And
Well, it's also because
Biden
Joe
can't
Biden
control.
put-
Biden, you gotta let me finish, please. Biden can't control when a global pandemic
I agree with
happens. But however, Trump failed to act on the initial recommendations
I agree. I agree
provided
that-
by the CDC. That was a failure by Trump. Do you concede that?
No.
How do you not concede that? He didn't do anything for like the first like 2
I don't
3
believe
months.
the science was clear, and I don't believe that the CDC has a legal right to impose moral requirements on people of whether or not they have to wear a mask to enter a restaurant or how many feet they have to
Why are
stand
you
apart.
talking about the mask? I'm talking about shutting down like our ports of entry. Like the one time he should have shut down entry to the United States, he failed to do so.
When?
Trump did. At the very beginning of COVID, when the CDC, it was the first like 2 to 3 months, like when the outbreak started in China. They said this is a bad virus. It's very viral. You need to shut things down. And he said, no, we're open, and he failed. Do you concede that?
So the CDC has authority over the president and the federal government of how to dictate our borders because
To
of the
make
pandemic?
recommendations based on like how viral.
Well, they made a lot of recommendations that sucked.
Okay,
They made kids wear masks in
yes or
schools.
no?
They locked people in their rooms for months. Kids are now more antisocial, stupider. Everybody's relying on AI and ChatGPT because they were locked in their rooms for 3 years because Democrats wanted to shut down schools. People couldn't go to church. I couldn't go visit my granddad in a hospital because, oh no, you might have COVID. Literally, somebody could be dying and you're not granted access to go look at them. There's a lot of proposals that were stupid. You could say that, oh, he should have shut down the border. Sure. If you could say that he failed in that manner.
Thank you. Okay,
And
so that's
I
a
agree that the
concession. Thank you.
pandemic. I agree that the pandemic is not Joe Biden's fault. He didn't cause that, and I
Right.
agree that Trump, as well as Biden, contributed to inflation and the money that they poured into it. But Biden also contributed to inflation. You said that people voted because of inflation in many other ways. How much he had tons of federal spending.
Okay.
Federal spending, when you print money by the government, that increases inflation. It weakens the value of the dollar.
You
Democrats
know-
love to print money.
When was the last time the government had a deficit surplus? Or a budget surplus, sorry. When was the last time?
When's the last time the government had a budget surplus? I'm not sure. Tell me.
Ooh, that was under Clinton. That was a Democrat.
Okay.
In fact, if you actually look, I don't know where this delusion...
Clinton would be a Republican today.
Sure, whatever you say, buddy, but whatever... I don't know when this delusion started of, like, Democrats
I
are,
also
like,
don't
bad.
believe
You
that
gotta let
trade-
me finish.
I also don't.
You gotta let me
first,
finish. You gotta let me finish.
There's a
Right, I don't know where
proposition.
you're
I don't
cutting
believe
off.
that trade deficits are reflective of a good economy. I mean, we've been in trade deficits for a long
No,
time.
but you're
and we
talking... You
still have
just
good
talked about
economies.
spending. You just
Yes.
talked about spending, and I'm saying how Democrats were better for spending.
You're talking about a federal trade deficit and budget deficits. I'm talking about inflation. Inflation is.
You just said Democrats love to print money. We're talking about inflation. We're talking
do.
about our deficit.
They do. They love government spending and federal spending. They love expanding the power of the bureaucracy and throwing money into things that never work, like homelessness, poverty, and it never works.
Who's better for the Democrats or Republicans?
It depends on how they go about doing it.
Wait,
Overwhelmingly,
Democrats or Republican? There's,
a
like, from
conservative,
Clinton
a
to
conservatively fiscal, responsible position is better for our economy than Democrats who want to print money and increase taxes on the more wealthy to fund and subsidize social services for people who do not contribute to the economy, who take advantage of our system, and they print a lot of money for issues that don't work, and people take advantage of our system.
Okay, so you are conceding then that Democrats are better for balancing the budget. Did you concede that?
No.
Okay, well then you're just factually wrong. I'm sorry, Brown. I would tell you, you're just wrong.
Okay.
Okay, would you like to bet $1,000 on that?
On what?
That Democrats, when we look at deficit spending, it decreases under Democrats as
No,
compared to
I
Republicans.
granted you that proposition.
Oh, also, okay, so thank you. That was the point. I was
Sure, but I
explaining.
don't.
Thank you.
I've told you that I don't believe that deficits are reflective of a healthy economy.
Okay, sure, but the thing is, though, that I wasn't necessarily talking
We've
about
run
healthy
federal
economy.
deficits forever, and we've had great economies and bad economies with federal deficits, with surpluses and with deficits. I don't think any conservative or anybody who has a conservatively fiscal policy or worldview would say that our trade deficits are reflective of like the health of our economy. It's insane.
Sure. Let's go on to something a little more interesting. This one's so fun. Yeah, how versed are you on January 6th?
Not extremely, but I know about it.
So, like, what would it take to convince you that, like, Donald Trump is a traitor to the United States and attempted to coup our government?
It would take you convincing me to do so.
Yeah. Do you know? There's a lot to go into, but do you know who, like, John Eastman is?
I've heard the name, but I don't know anything specific about the person.
Do you know, like, the Raffensperger call?
No.
That's the one, like, find me 11,000 votes to the state.
I did hear that.
secretary.
Yes, the phone call.
So you do know about that one.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not like just absurdly, like just on its face,
I think it's wrong.
axiomatically insane? Wait, it's one thing to say it's wrong. It's another thing to say like, Jesus Christ, like what? This is like the most corrupt, evil thing in the world. What do you mean? Like it's like a downplaying.
I think it was wrong. I don't think the election was stolen.
On a scale, oh, awesome. So then you think that Donald Trump is either schizophrenic or is a liar?
I don't know whether he was fully convinced that it was against him or not. I'm not sure if he actually was convicted of his beliefs or not. I don't read his mind, but I think what he did was wrong.
Well, either A, he's extremely schizophrenic and thought the entire 2020 election was stolen from him, and it was unjustified, right? So he's schizophrenic. Or B, he's a manipulative liar who has deceived about like what, a third of the country into thinking that he won that election, which is evil. Would you agree with that?
I don't think it's evil. I think it's stupid, and I think it is a trait of narcissism.
Wait. If you intentionally...
Hillary Clinton went on for years after the 2016 election saying it wasn't legitimate. You have Jasmine Crockett a couple of weeks ago.
Wrong. You're talking about one quote. I know that quote exactly.
No, she said multiple times it wasn't legitimate. I saw people on Twitter. I can go back on my Twitter feed right now. It would take me a while. After Trump destroyed Kamala Harris, saying that there's no way this is real. Oh, we must recount. We have to audit. There's no way. All this and that. It's what people...
Wait, did Kamala concede the next day?
I don't know when she conceded.
Did.
I'm glad that she did concede, and I wish
did.
Trump would have conceded too. I believe in our electoral process and the people who count the votes, but I also believe that Democrats, and I think the Republicans have a good reason to be weary, because Democrats want mail-in voting and electronic ballots because they want to cheat. There's no other reason. The same reason that they don't want to pass the SAVE Act right now. The same reason they don't want to pass the SAVE Act right now, because they want illegal people voting for them, because they know if illegal people vote, they're going to vote for Democrats.
Jacob, you are so much smarter than this, bro. You are so much smarter than this. When you say that there is like this wide thing of like illegal people voting, okay, can you give me one instance?
I don't think it's influential.
Wait.
Macro,
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Any is more than there should be.
Yes or no? Has there ever been a case of widespread federal election fraud?
That would have influenced or totally changed the outcome of the election? I don't think so.
Okay. So you're attacking a problem that doesn't exist, but you also acknowledge that this is something... Wait, you acknowledge this is something that's going to introduce hurdles to other people trying to vote, right?
Well, first, I think if you don't have proof of citizenship in this country, then you need to go get it. I think it's your obligation. You need to have proof of your ID for a lot of things, to get a tattoo, to buy certain products, to buy tobacco products, to go to certain places, to go to the doctor, but not for voting, not to shape federal elections, or not to shape federal policy in the future of our country. You don't need an ID to do that.
You understand?
I think that's stupid, and it doesn't. All the lies that the Democrats are pushing, they're not true as to how it marginalizes people and pushes people out of being able to vote. They want illegal people to be able to vote. It's very simple.
Okay. So they want illegal people to be able to vote,
yes.
But you can't demonstrate a single time where there was widespread voter fraud.
You're telling me that because...
Wait, yes or no? You can't demonstrate that? This is feelings, bro.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's widespread. Are we going to wait until there is widespread voter fraud that changes and until we address the problem? Just like Iran right now, are we supposed to wait until they have a nuclear weapon and try to use it until we address the problem? Or do we deal with the problem whenever it is growing before it can become an eventual problem that does overturn a big election?
You understand you can make this argument literally for anything, right?
Yes.
You can make this argument. So like, for example, like, oh, maybe this person over here might want to punch me in the face. Should I wait for him to do it or should I do it to him first? This is absurd.
That's not a good analogy.
No, it's a perfect analogy.
No, you're like trying to read somebody's mind.
Yeah, exactly. And you're trying to say,
it would be different. A better analogy would be, okay, I've seen this person walking around punching other people in the face.
Right.
Maybe I don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
So we see, okay, there are a lot of people who are voting illegally, and there are some flaws in our system. So maybe we should address the problem now before it gets better.
Bro, you just proved my point. Because with that, you gave a situation where there would be evidence that could point to, but you can't give me one piece
of voter fraud.
Give me one piece of widespread voter fraud.
You're asking for widespread.
Yes.
I'm talking about voter fraud.
Okay,
I'm telling you, we have to deal with voter fraud before it becomes a massive problem that can shape or change the outcome of elections.
Right.
You don't wait for it to do that before you address it.
And how many?
How many what?
How many times have there been cases of federal election fraud?
There have been thousands of cases. Tens of thousands. Yes. There were people who were dead who were recorded for voting. There were made up social security numbers of people.
You understand how those were generated, right?
I don't care how they're generated. If somebody's dead and it says that they voted, then that's not right.
You understand that, like, I could cast a vote, like, let's say we have an election tomorrow. I cast a vote, and then the election gets decided in, like, a month. You know, that's a month where I could have died.
Why
right?
does it take us a month to count our ballots whenever there's other countries who have millions and millions of people who vote and they hand count them and they have it within 2-3 days?
Wait, no. You understand that, like, oh my god, like, this is just insane. Like, you understand that the whole reason why people are saying that dead people are voting is that these are people who died in that intermediate process, right?
So they voted and then they died
Yes.
before the election.
Yes.
I don't believe that's true.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, you're just wrong on this.
Okay.
And like, I'm gonna put like a little like thing right here, like.
Okay, I mean, people who have been dead for, I've seen multiple cases of people who have been dead for many years that were recorded as voting. So for you to say that they voted and then they died and then the election results came about and then, they died, they weren't actually dead for 10 years. No, I've seen many cases of people who were dead for multiple years.
Okay.
And even the audits that they did not conclude widespread voter fraud that would have changed the outcome of the election, but almost all of them did see voter fraud. That's what they harp on, is no widespread. I understand there is not widespread, and I already condemned what happened on January 6th. I think it was awful.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trump was wrong for doing that, especially the whole thing about, hey, find me 11,000 votes, the whole Mike Pence thing. I totally disapprove of that, and I think anybody who backs it up is trying to argue for a moral position that is immoral. But I do believe that voter fraud is a real issue. I believe that illegal people do vote, and I don't think that requiring people to have ID whenever we require them to do many other things in this country is a bad thing. You should have ID to vote. You should be able to prove you're an American citizen. And if you're in America and it's so important to you to vote, you should do what you can to go prove that you are an American citizen. It's not complicated. Prove you're an American. It's not hard.
You agree that if it was the case, though, that he was deliberately lying in order to influence and like completely divide the entire United States and distort what is real relating to the fact that he lost, that this would be objectively evil, right?
I wouldn't call it evil. I would call it chaotic and stupid.
What do you mean chaotic and stupid? When you were intentionally lying to try to dictatorially destroy democracy.
I don't think
you know, understand destroying democracy, right?
I don't think he was trying to destroy democracy. I think he was trying to, in a way, subvert it.
Subvert it. That's destroying it so that way he can retain power. What are you talking about,
No,
dude?
I mean, he would have still ruled democratically.
No, he wouldn't. He lost. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying through democratic institutions. He would not have been the rightfully democratically elected leader.
No, what are you talking about?
Are you
No,
hearing me?
He
would not have been the rightfully democratically elected leader, right? He wouldn't have been a legitimate democratically elected person if he lost.
Yeah.
But the institutions around him, our Congress, the House, the Senate, how we pass laws on a local, state, and federal level would have been done through democratic processes. If Donald Trump, he wouldn't have destroyed democracy. A president claiming that he won when he might not have actually won doesn't destroy democracy, but he's trying to subvert it and say, oh, well, actually I did win, which is an issue, but it's not destroying democracy.
If you illegally maintain power, right, completely against all democratic processes, right, is that not a violation of that democratic process and therefore a violation of democracy? Yes or no?
It is a violation of democracy, but it is not the destruction of democracy.
Okay, how are we going to get him out of power if we can't vote him out of power?
He would eventually leave. No president can serve more than 2 terms.
What do you mean, bro? If he's already violating the thing where he lost the election, you think he's going to abide by that? That's insane.
Well, I think the American people would rise up to understand. It's a lot different. It's a lot easier to convince people that the voting has been manipulated or that you've actually won than it is to say that you're entitled to 3 terms.
Dude, you want a civil war?
That's clear cut in the Constitution.
That's a civil war. When you are saying that,
I want a civil war. Says the.
Well, you are saying that the people would have to rise up and revolt against him. Yes, that's a civil war. You just advocate for a civil war.
No, I said I don't think they would have to do that. It would be clear cut. The people of America don't want a president serving more than 2 terms. We did this for a reason.
And how are we getting him out?
How will we get him out?
Yeah.
He will step down, or I don't know.
Why would he step down when he lied about losing the election, bro? What do you mean he would step down?
Why are you led to believe that he would want to serve a 3rd term and would refuse to step down?
Who's talking about a 3rd term? I'm talking about him losing the 2020 election. Okay, let's make sure we're on the tracking train, okay? Trump loses the 2020 election, intentionally disseminates disinformation, making people think that he won the 2020.
You don't have no proof that it's intentional.
Dude, you didn't read the Jack Smith indictments, bro. I don't know what to tell you, but it's absolutely
Jack Smith's a bozo. He was.
Have you read the indictments?
Thrown out of the case. Huh?
Have you read the indictments? And you're talking about the Mar-a-Lago case. You have no idea.
I
what you're
have
talking
read
about.
some of the indictments. It's been many years. I've kind of moved on from this because the American people overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump because your policies on your other side and all the politicians you advocate for suck. And I think the American people have moved on past that and they don't care. And I think that's more of a testament to the American people's frustration with leftist policies and their want for something new, which is why they voted for Trump and he won the popular vote and he won the Electoral College. It wasn't even close, so I don't know why we even still harp on this. I've already condemned it. I said it's wrong. I said that it is a subverting of democracy, but not a destruction. And if you want to talk about other violations of democracy and things like that, Your party is not the party. You guys calling people fascists and subverters of democracy.
Wait,
It's
I'm
like
sorry.
You guys.
Okay. Sorry, I
I'm
don't
accused
mean
of
to
being
interrupt.
a fascist, bigot, every name in the book, every single day. You said that I want a civil war. I don't want a civil war. I want to unite Americans. But I think that harping on something that happened 5 years ago, whenever the people have already come to the decision today to vote for Trump in overwhelming numbers and they support him way more than they supported Kamala, is a testament to what the people think. So why don't we leave that in 2020, 2021, say it was wrong,
No.
and move on? Okay, well, you can live in the past, and you guys will keep losing, and Republicans will say, okay, you guys can't move on past anything. You're just a bunch of complainers. What are you going to do?
Okay.
How does that help you in the modern day of harping on something that happened 6 years ago?
You said a lot. Earlier, you said that the left calls you guys a bunch of fascists and et cetera, right? I'm sorry, who started this whole thing between like calling each other names? 'Cause I'll give you an answer. It's not the left. Do you know anything about Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck? Them calling people on the left like socialists and communists like back in like the 90s? Like, what are you talking about,
It goes back
dude?
a lot further than that, too.
Yeah, it does. It does. So I'm sorry to like this like myth that like, oh, we're the ones who started it.
I'm going to do it, too. Is that what we're doing? Is that like...
No, but you're the one that said that we're the ones who are doing that when I was like, hey,
You are
I'm
doing
gonna
it in
say
overwhelming
this.
fashion. You're also murdering people. You know the guy who used to do this? The guy who used to do this, who used to hold this mic in
The
here?
guy who was raised by MAGA.
Was he raised by MAGA?
He was
the guy
raised
who
by
handed
MAGA.
mics, open mics to people to come up and do exactly what you're doing. What did they do to him?
Oh, he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot. He's
Yeah.
no longer alive. Why?
Because he got shot. What do you mean? I just
Because
said
somebody
that.
thought he was a fascist. Because somebody thought he was a threat to democracy. He was having conversations with people.
And you know what? It's something that I agree with. Political violence is bad. Of
Okay,
course,
and your
it
party
shouldn't be happening to
overwhelmingly
anyone.
supports it through polling.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Over 50% of Gen Z Democrats were polled, and months ago, multiple polling, that says political violence is justified if they think that the cause is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Your party, our generation, Gen Z, is very supportive of political violence. I think it's okay.
We got two statements here. One, when you say that political violence can be justified, the truth is, in some super crazy scenarios, I think you and I would agree. So, like, for example, in Nazi Germany, I think there'd be some reasonable level of political violence that would be justified in a situation like that. Would you agree with that?
In a democracy, political violence is.
In a
in no way
I agree with that.
justified.
I agree in that
We
case.
live in a democracy.
I agree with that. But like the concept of political violence, I'm not sure how the poll was phrased.
Yes, I believe that people should like, if a revolution like in Iran, if the people want to rise up and overthrow their oppressive government, that's different than living in a democracy and
I agree.
murdering a political pundit or commentator who's literally handing an open mic to people. It's a lot
I agree.
different.
I agree.
Okay. But there's one group of people ideologically in this country right now who overwhelmingly support that, and it's not the Republicans.
It is.
It's not.
I'm sorry. Wait.
not.
Do you the seditious
The
six?
polling doesn't lie.
The
The
seditious
statistics-
six.
What?
You don't know about the dude. You're so much smarter than this. You know about the seditious six.
What
bro.
about them?
Saying that they should be fucking hanged. Yeah, that. And then everyone is still rallying behind Trump. You guys are the ones who are calling.
Did they
literal
hang
for death
anybody?
threats. They're calling for it.
Did they do it?
No. How's about Melissa Hortman and her husband?
There's crazy people in every party, and every
Yeah.
group of people, and every military, and every.
Yeah.
You could find bad apples.
And what do? We look to our leadership, bro. Your leader is the worst fucking apple, dude. I don't know
You
what
have
to tell
leaders
you.
who literally were inciting people to go fight ICE officers on the side of the streets and to take up arms, labeling them as the Gestapo, like Nazis.
Wait,
Your
who
party
was the
leaders-
leader saying
your-
that? Who was the leader saying that?
Chuck Schumer, Jacob Fry.
What did they say? What did they say?
They literally said that the people should take up and fight ICE. I can't quote them verbatim, but it was very clear.
No, they didn't say to fight ICE because I
Yes,
know exactly.
they did.
'Cause you're saying this in
and did they-
relation to Minnesota, no?
Yes, and many other states,
Exactly.
and they also called them Gestapo multiple times, insinuating that our federal agencies are Nazis. Your party is labeling workers of the federal government who are deporting illegals and sex traffickers and predators Nazis.
So first off, one, I'm sure you know about the May memo that was made and given to ICE, saying that ICE officials don't need a judicial warrant. One, I'm sure you're familiar with that because they were violating people's Fourth Amendments. For example, the Asian man who was pulled out into the snow, that man, his Fourth Amendment violation was absolutely violated. Second, they have always explicitly stated to stay peaceful and use your phone, record these people, to not engage. Like, you're absolutely cherry picking that.
They did not say to remain peaceful, but if you want to say that actions speak louder than, or that words speak louder than actions, Trump also told the people on January 6th to remain peaceful.
After Ashley Babbitt got shot.
What about Ashley Babbitt?
Yeah, that was done after she was shot and people had already reached the Capitol grounds. And also, how come those sycophantic dogs didn't leave until after Trump said, go home? And he's the one that calls it a day of love. If you want to go on the January 6th stuff, I will cook you, dude. You're smarter than this.
I've already condemned it. I don't know what.
No, okay. It's one thing to say it was bad.
I think it's funny that you're hyperfixating on something that happened 5 years ago that has nothing.
I'm sorry. Wait. When did the Jeffrey Epstein stuff happen? Oh, but it's still important. Oh, but it was like 5 years. This is a stupid talking point, bro.
When did it become relevant? I don't know. Why didn't your party leaders do anything to release the files when they had them?
Why did all Republicans try to avoid releasing them?
The Republican Party campaigned on releasing them, and it's done more than any other administration prior. If Trump was in them or implicated, why didn't Joe Biden release them? They tried to throw him in prison for multiple things. You don't think they tried to slam him with the Epstein files?
I'll say this. One, I never said that Trump was implicated in the Epstein files. I don't think there's anything that proves that he did. And if he did do it, I think it probably would have come out by now, for one. And then two, when the Epstein Transparency Act was getting released, who was the one party that was voting unanimously for it? Who was that?
The Democrats.
Oh, they're the ones fighting to get it released, right?
Sure.
Okay, so your party's protecting pedophiles, bro. Like, that's just a fucking L, bro. You gotta take that one.
The Republicans have released 3 million files.
Yeah, and how much did it take? How hard was it? They fought every single, fiber of their muscle to get it out.
I haven't read
You can see that, right?
No, I mean, they fought pretty hard. I think that...
Yeah, to protect pedophiles, bro. Your party sucks.
I don't affiliate with a party. I'm a free thinker.
You are the one who was literally, you're the free thinker at Turning Point USA, which is explicitly condoning Republicans.
I'm a conservative morality, but I'm not blind to a party.
Okay.
I support values, not politicians, because I'm not in a cult like you guys are.
There's so much I could go into, but it's been about 26 minutes, and I will say, yeah, it has. I know this guy's definitely been waiting for a hot minute, and I do want to say, one, truly, I want you to stay safe. I think what happened to Charlie Kirk truly is an awful, awful thing. And in a democracy, we can't live with the threat of violence for free speech.
I agree.
So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what I see, I really do think you're a smart guy. But I don't know, defending the Republicans and then saying the left with the Epstein stuff, nah, man, the Republicans are just absolutely the lost.
I think anybody who's in the Epstein files should be punished to the furthest extent of the law.
Awesome, love to see it. I'm glad the Democrats were the ones who were fighting to get those released. Okay. But with that, I'll go ahead and end my time here. Thank you so much, and please be safe.
Why are they fighting now? Why didn't they do anything whenever they had power?
I just said I'm going to end it, and hey, take care, brother.
They fight now when it's politically convenient, when Trump's in office, but when they have the power, they don't want to do anything. Makes sense. Thank you for talking, though. I appreciate it.